So why is it that this awakening process can feel like time has sped up? The days are just flying by. Everything seems to be happening so fast. This is really because of the disidentification with thought. As the disidentification process unfolds, disidentifying with thought, there is actually less thoughts. Because the thoughts require attention. The less attention given to thoughts means that the thoughts sort of starve. They need that attention and interest. That attention and interest is what sustains that thought activity. Without that constant attention and interest in the me that I believe to be, the me in my story, that story starts to fall apart. It doesn't have this continuous narrative. There's a difference between this narrative activity, this narration that's just this constant loop, and simply thoughts that arise. Now, really, it's all just thoughts that are arising, but when there is a constant attention and interest in those thoughts, and there's an identification with those thoughts, then there is this experience of a very strong flow of thinking. This thought activity, it's like a flow, like a stream. It's very constant. And when this is the case, then there is also the experience of time. But as the disidentification continues, there's less identifying with those thoughts, and that thinking activity is, let's say, not so constant. This constant activity that you're used to experiencing starts to feel more broken. And then this is the experience of, well, there's just a thought here and a thought there. It's just a thought arising. And the frequency of these thoughts arising are then less frequent. So it loses this kind of narration. It's not like someone reading you a story. That story needs this constant flow. When there isn't that constant flow of thinking, because there's no attention being given to it, and interest in that story, then that thinking activity starts to starve in a way. You aren't feeding it with your attention and interest. So there's less thoughts, and it's experienced as more of this spaciousness, that there's more space in between the thoughts. First, it was thought. Then you start to see, well, there's a little bit more space between each thought. And then this space is increasing. The space is increasing. The space is increasing. It's as if that is the experience, that there's an increase in this space in between thoughts. Now, the space in between the thought is timeless. It's the thought that then creates the sense of time. Without thought, there's no time. So in the experience of more space, less thought, it creates the experience that time has sped up. Like, whoa, the day just flew by. It's as it gets so fast. It's like it's flashing before your eyes. It almost kind of feels like you're going to bed, right when you wake up, sort of say. It's like, wow, that day just flew. What happened? Right? Because there's not that constant narrative. There's not this constant referring to past, projecting into future. This is the thought. Past, future, past, future, past, future. Memory, imagination, memory, imagination. This is the thinking activity. Now, without those thoughts of past and future, well, there's no time. Time is past and future. Past and future is thought. Time is thought. So it gives this experience of time speeding up. And as this process continues, and there's even less thoughts, it's the experience of your true nature, that which is timeless. You start to really see how illusionary the time is. Because time is conceptual. But disidentifying from thought is breaking free from that illusion of time. So it creates this experience where it kind of feels like everything is getting like almost getting faster, almost like a vortex kind of feeling. Like everything's picking up speed. Everything is getting faster. The days are just flying by. Holy crap, it's Friday. It was just Monday. Now it's Friday. Oh my God, it's dinner time. I feel like I just woke up. It creates this kind of effect. So that's the experience of this time, feeling like it's getting faster. Now, while we're on the subject, let's look at this of when you're dwelling in your thoughts, when there's a really strong identification with thought, there's a really constant narration. This thinking activity, this stream of thought is very constant. Thought. There's not much space in between the thought. And this creates the experience that time is slow. This is kind of, when you hear people, you just kind of go to the grocery store, hey, how are you? And they kind of say something like, oh, it's only 11 o'clock. Like it's only this time. Like, oh, they'll say things like, it's only half the day. Or they'll say like, oh, I got a whole more to go until the end of my shift kind of thing. It's this kind of passing time. It's this feeling that time is moving so slow, right? We're just we want time to speed up. It's so slow. And this is kind of feeling like this dragging. It's just dragging. Oh my God, is it only Wednesday? We have to look forward to these made up kind of events. Wednesday, it's hump day. We're almost at the weekend. Can we just start the countdown for the weekend on Wednesday? Right? So this it's always this timeline. And this is created from this referencing of past, referencing of future. Without the reference of past and future, there's no time. And what is past and what is future? It's a thought. It's a thought. So without the reference of thought, there's no time. But it's neat to look at this in our experience, that it's kind of when there's extreme suffering, when there's extreme unhappiness, time is slow. You're stuck. There's this feeling of stuck and dragging on, right? And in the experience of happiness, well, the happiness is timeless. And this is where the saying comes from, time flies when you're having fun. Because when you're actually happy, meaning there's no resistance to the moment, because zero resistance to what is equals happiness. That is what happiness is zero resistance to what is. So without resistance to what is, time flies when you're having fun. When there's a lot of resistance to what is, you're trying to, change your clock. You're trying to speed up the time. You're always looking at the time. Oh my God, it's only 12 o'clock. The time you look again, oh my God, it's only 12:30, right? And you see this when there's a lot of resistance. You're constantly watching the clock because there's so much resistance to what is. So it's almost like this, I can't wait to get out of this job. I can't wait for this day to be done. I can't wait until lunchtime. I can't wait till the end of the week. That kind of I can't wait is another way of saying I don't like right now. And I don't like right now is resistance to this moment. And resistance to this moment is unhappiness. So when there's less resistance to the moment, there's actually less thinking. And when there's less thinking, there's less of the experience of time, because time is conceptual. So you start noticing that in this awakening process, as it's unfolding, is there's less and less resistance to what is. And as there's less and less resistance to what is, it creates this experience that time is speeding up. But really, time isn't speeding up. It's just your identification with thought is decreasing, which means that it kind of feels like you're disidentifying from time. You are breaking free from the illusion of time, which means that you are experiencing your timeless nature. Hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.